And then pop this on, pop that off, pop that on, and there we go. And they can hear us as our intro starts. Where is it going, Zach? Hey, look at there, Zach. Okay. What is that? I thought that was honey. I was like, why did he put a picture of honey in there?
No, it's whiskey.
Like a whiskey close up, yeah.
Honey whiskey.
That's cool. That's like a really good shot right
That's
there.
like us doing the robot. And
Zach doing
crab.
a lot. The crab. That's a good shot.
Yeah, nice little rolling snifter. That's us. That's cool. Wait.
There
Never
we
go
go.
full logo. You always gotta go full logo.
You always gotta go full logo. Bam, let's stop that. Turn that on. And welcome to the Barrel Buddies. I'm James.
Hello, it's Zach.
Wow.
And I'm BJ. Does not flow well after heyo, I'm Zach.
No.
Shelly, how's it going? Redbeard, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
And I'm BJ.
Yeah.
Welcome back to your weekly whiskey, wine, and bourbon podcast.
Whoa.
Wow, that's a weird
We
intro.
got wild voices and wild noises tonight.
It's for wild and wacky times, everybody. We're so glad you're back.
Okay, George Dickel.
Dickel.
That's the name of the game
Wow,
tonight.
a lot of gravitas you just brought. I'll have to edit and post like this.
Dickel. Tennessee whiskey. And here's what happened. Recently, I'm not going to say recently, I'm going to go way back. Starting my whiskey journey, everybody I talked to under the sun that was like in whiskey, ooh, don't get George Dickel. That tastes like Flintstone vitamins. Everybody says that.
Oh,
and I'm
we
like,
talked about
Well,
this.
Yeah, I'm
a
like-
lot of people said the same thing about
that's weird.
wild turkey too.
yeah.
I'm hoping to be pleasantly
So
surprised.
I have not had any Dickel. I've never had this.
Never once? Not even experimenting in
once.
college?
Nope.
You never had
I've
any
not
Dickel?
had any Dickel.
No Dickel.
So
How about
do
you
not
for you,
edit
Zach?
that.
I have had the white one, the 12.
You were into the white.
the white.
Zach's into white Dickel.
Yeah.
Good to
I
know.
mean, why not?
Better than that black Dickel.
So
It's real big, I
okay.
heard.
The balloon
The where were we? So the 8. So classic recipe number 8. I haven't had this.
Something like a big
That's the
8-inch
one
Dickel.
we're
Not-
trying tonight,
Not an 8-year
and this is available everywhere, folks.
So it's recipe number 8.
recipe number 8.
I don't know that this is available everywhere.
Yeah, it
I think
is.
that's not fair to say that. Because I think it took us a little while to locate Dickel. Listen,
I think every corner store or liquor store is going to have
I don't
this.
think that's true. I think every corner store has the other Tennessee whiskey. The Tennessee whiskey we all know and love.
Jim Beam.
Jack Daniels.
Jim Beam is a bourbon.
Why would I say Jim Beam? That's wow. I lost all my credibility right there.
I'm taking your D card, baby.
Oops.
That's your drinking card.
Oopsie.
Hey, Vanna, would you mind?
All right, you got her.
I was thinking of a name, JBJD, different letters. Doesn't work.
Yeah, you're close. You're close. So, yeah, I think that Dickel is not
What
necessarily...
if I said Jack Beam? Like, would that have thrown you off?
I would have canceled the show and we would have gone home.
You know, those bottles by good old Jack Beam. I know you would have thought about it for a second. You're like, wait.
Talk about the Dickel.
Oh, okay, there we go. George Dickel.
Or
Let's talk a little bit about... So George Dickel started
It's,
distilling...
George T, right?
It's George A.
George
Patrick,
A.
how's it going? Uncle Pumpy, how you doing, bud?
George
A. Sorry, George. I thought it looks like a...
George
Anyway,
Alabaster Dickel.
Let's get back to his story. So, it's like 20 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So,
He began the journey
like
leading to
1800-ish.
the creation of the best Tennessee whiskey around.
He's reading the bottle. Okay. So anyway, 1800, George Dickel was like, hey, I can do this. I can make a distillery. Thank you, Redbeard. And
What did Redbeard say?
he didn't say anything.
Oh, I thought you were thanking him for something.
I would have said what he was saying
Oh.
if it mattered.
I thought
Anyway.
you said thank you. Not so much.
No. Anyway,
Thank you, Redbeard.
Prohibition came and he had to close up shop,
Boo.
right?
Boo, Mr. Volstead.
You want to hear a really weird thing what he did during Prohibition?
Would love to.
He sold the brand. He just sold the name to be used temporarily at the Stitzel distillery.
Wow.
during Prohibition
George
for
A.
his
Stitzel.
for his recipe to be used his name to be used on medicinal spirits during Prohibition.
Oh, they got one of those licenses.
One of the smart ones.
So then what happened, I think, however you want to pour it.
I just realized I still had water in my
So after that, after Prohibition and that ended, they ended up building a new distillery a few blocks or, I don't know, farms down from the original. And
Couple of whiskey farms down the road.
whatever. I mean, I'm trying to, I don't know how to grade farmland. Like, is it in hectares or...
Hectareacres.
Hectareacres?
Yeah, it's
or-
hectareacres.
Oh, it's one Amish horse cart between...
Shout out to our friends at Drunk History. We are interested. As you can tell, we're really good at telling this story.
Anyway, that's George Dickel for you. So anyway, he was known in his area of creating the smoothest, mellowest whiskey. That's what they were known
Smoothest
for.
alabaster Dickel.
Yeah.
Heck
So,
yeah.
I mean, the nose is not bad on this at all. I'm going to be right. I'm straight up honest. I thought this was going to be terrible.
So, this is their opening statement.
Really quick, can I tell you about their warehouses? Because it's such a cool story.
I think you should.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you were going to get into something, but here we go. I mean, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Redbeard. Hectares?
Hectareacres.
Hectares?
It is hectares.
Hectares?
Like Hector Gonzalez.
Wow.
Wow.
I don't think so. So anyway,
We're making things up.
what do we got over there?
BJ
This is
probably.
totally derailed. What was I doing?
We'll edit this in post.
We'll edit
You were going
this
to tell
in
us
post.
about the warehouses.
Oh, the warehouses. Okay, so, and this is, I don't know how to take this.
You're welcome, everybody watching.
I don't know how to take this. Tell me what you guys think about this, and let us know in the chat too. They decided that we're going to make all of our warehouses. They're steel frame warehouses and steel metal sheets.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like brick or wood. Anyway, they're like, we're going to make warehouses that store our product while it ages, our juice, no larger than 1 floor or 1 story high.
I think
Wow.
that's a terrible idea, but okay.
For consistency, because they say if we built a multi-story warehouse, as you all know, based on where the barrel sits, you're getting different flavor profiles that when you're blending a consistent batch, it throws everything off.
Missed
So they say
opportunities.
one warehouse, not one warehouse, but 1 floor, 1 story.
So everything's exactly the same. Very,
Isn't that? What do you think about that?
Very
Tell us
meat and
What's your
potatoes.
guys' opinions on that?
very meat and potatoes. I think. You
Wow.
know, like you said, missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Interesting,
got it.
interesting single barrel opportunities.
I guess if, hold on, I really wanted to say where it was made. If, I guess in Tullahoma, Tennessee,
Yeah.
Tullahoma.
there are not little micro areas or microclimates on their distillery property, then sure, because you know that there are more than one of these warehouses.
Oh, they claim they're all at the top of a hill in their region.
Of course.
Yeah.
I missed opportunity, I guess, is all I'm going to say. I just wanted to say about this particular bottle, Classic Number 8 recipe, distilled and charcoal mellowed like its cousin, Jack Daniels, another Tennessee whiskey. Charcoal mellowed, which just means that they use the charcoal from some of the maple in the area to
Filter.
filter it out
Yeah.
and mellow it down.
So get this. Do you know what they also do before they filter it?
Please tell us.
They cool down the juice. So before it gets filtered, one unique thing, it's usually room temperature or warm by some of the other companies that filter.
Okay.
But they chill theirs before they filter it, and they claim that makes it smoother
Interesting.
before it's filtered.
To be
Yeah.
found. This has got some interesting things all over the bottles. So, one, I think the bottle shape is extraordinarily distinctive.
Really quick though, the eight makes me think of 8 years old, and it's not.
But we've covered this.
No defined age statement.
Recipe number 8.
We have covered this.
Just
But everybody typically says that this is about 6 years. There's no defined age statement, but typically 6. Finest quality sippin', ain't nothing better, it says on it. Then it says, George discovered that this whiskey made in the cold winter months tasted smoother. Today we follow this tradition by chilling our whiskey
Oh, hey!
before filtering it through sugar maple charcoal. We think this unique chilled filtration process makes a finer whiskey. We hope that you agree. So little backup to your story.
Yeah,
here.
and so really quick, Shelly, this is such a great question. She says, so does that solve your consistency issue, having a one-floor warehouse? Probably, but here's the thing where they differ. So you're saying, why do other distilleries do big warehouses? Dickel, I think, has a very consistent, very small product line of different variations. So they're staying consistent in that fashion, right? They don't have these crazy age statement, age whiskeys out there. Whereas, like, think of like Buffalo Trace, right? They have like 10 different brands all across the board, from blends to 8, 10, 17-year variants.
Can you look up the mash bill on this?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually
It
have
says
right
it
here.
also has their statement here.
Okay.
Come for the moonlight, stay for the whiskey. George would want you to.
So this is coming in at 80 proof, so it's 40% alcohol by volume. The mash bill is 84% corn.
Wow.
8% rye and 8% malted barley at a number 4 barrel char.
So it's got some char on it. Cool.
Oh yeah, you can smell
let's get
that.
into this.
It smells very dusty. I get dust and
Interesting how you say dust.
yeah, it smells like an old kind of like an old book.
Okay.
Or maybe
that's
like
fair.
a dusty old leather.
Yeah, I think that's a good move. Like dusty leather, something definitely old, right? Something that has been wet and dried out, and you get that dried, was once wet smell.
So it's
I love this nose.
that coal filtered
Butterscotch,
smell, maybe?
guys. Butterscotch.
Mm.
And I love butterscotch to begin with, and I have not gotten butterscotch in a lot of whiskeys, even though you hear a lot of vanilla creme brulee. But you know how butterscotch is different, you know.
I'm not getting butterscotch for some reason. Maybe I just gotta maybe like tip of the nose.
I'm with you. I like leather,
Creamy
and
butterscotch, creamy caramel.
This is gonna be like weird to say. Rotting fiber.
Oh, interesting.
I know I always bring up the rotting leaves, decomposition.
Yeah, chill filter.
I do always bring that up.
Kind of earthy, yeah.
Are we jumping into
There's
this?
some earthy. Yeah, get into this. Definitely the charcoal mellowed flavor.
Oh yeah.
You get that. It's been passed through some charcoal filtering. And all I say by that is, like, you know what the taste of Jack Daniels is over some other whiskeys. It's kind of minerally.
Stop. It's not. I get no minerality in this.
I get some minerality in this.
I think it's a little spicy, actually.
Yeah.
Uncle Punky's
Baking
asking,
spicy?
don't most distilleries use caves for storage? No, Uncle Punky.
Why?
You want temperature fluctuations with
what about
whiskeys
the
and
Irish
bourbons.
whiskey? Don't they use
For
caves?
Barrel Le Mans.
Some of the Irish whiskeys
Some
do
do.
use caves. Yeah, good job, Zach. I quit the show. I'm done.
Oh, that's correct.
Redbeard
on
City
back.
has
Just
also
kidding. I'm
gotten...
going to try and earn my D card back.
Redbeard has also gotten old books from old Jack Daniels single barrels.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
And it's probably just like, as we just talked about, Barrel Lamaze, right? Some of the environment that's coming through. And again, this is aged in the winter, so it's cold. So there's probably not a ton of Barrel Lamaze. That's interesting to think about, right?
Yeah.
They do all their bottling in the spring, which means all their aging and all of their barreling happens in the winter. So in the winter, there's probably not a lot of stuff going on. And then it goes through the process.
Here's what I speculate. The distillate in the barrels is so delicate that it takes on those smells from the warehouse. And I think you get
Could be.
a little bit of that
That tinny
barn,
metallic warehouse.
metal dusty warehouse. Yeah.
I wonder what the warehouse smells like. I bet you it
Like
smells like
what
this.
part of it, what it
Probably smells
tastes
like.
like.
A penny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dust and old barn, like woody, old. And then think of that like malty funk. Think about when you walk in the brewery, right? You get that like like that's the brewery smell. It has a smell to it.
Mm-hmm.
These places have their own unique smell. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm
getting a
still
little
like,
stringent taste to it. I don't know.
I am too, and I that's where I say it's like maybe a little minerally. It's not bad. It's not a bad mineral, and it's probably that number 4 barrel, right? You're talking about a really high. That's the highest barrel char before we start going into toasted range.
Here's what I think. This tastes to me like a cowboy whiskey. Like I'm in the old, like if we were in like the Old West in some little town and we walk into a saloon and we're like, bartender, whiskey. If I got this, I would be like, okay, like this just tastes like a saloon run-of-the-mill cowboy whiskey.
I think it's as whiskey as you can get.
Yeah, exactly. I think it just defines whiskey.
Like this is
basic,
super
not mind-blowing
whiskey. Like
it's just
here's
whiskey.
the bar for whiskey.
Yeah.
And it's there. It's sitting
Think of
right
like a generic label that just says whiskey in black letters, and if this was in it, I would be like, okay.
No, I think
wouldn't be upset with
okay,
that.
hold on. I'm gonna challenge you on that.
Okay.
Because
okay.
I'm it's unfair for me to say bar, and it sits on that bar because I think there's a bar for what whiskey is, and you're right. That's like
excuse me,
Popov, local grocery store chain branded plastic bottle, which is but maybe the bar, right?
Those are definitely below this.
They are.
Yeah.
So maybe let's call that the bar, and then this is a step above the bar. This is obviously much better than the bar.
Thank you, Redbeard.
But
I was just catching up on the chat.
Very basic, right? I think that this is basic in a good way. It's probably the most basic offering of whiskey that we've had in a long time.
It is. But I don't think that there's anything off-putting. I'm
No.
not thrown off by anything.
It's not bad.
I'm not disappointed. Again, let's talk about price really quick. And then Zach, while I dig that up, do you want to talk about what you're getting, Zach, over there?
Oh, for taste?
Yeah. Getting in the tasty there.
$21, friends, for this. I mean,
what a deal.
Come on now.
Yeah, no, it's got a little astringent to it. It tastes like whiskey. Like if you think of like your basic whiskey, it tastes like that. Nothing off-putting. It's just pretty much straight up. It probably all tastes the same, from Dickel. And that's why they have the single level brick houses.
Consistency.
They just want to be exactly
step above the bar.
Listen, they've been doing this for over 100 years. It's consistent.
I think they know what they're doing.
The birth of whiskey, this is what it tasted like, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I'll give them this. They're making more whiskey than I am. So good job, Dickel.
I get a little bit of sweetness maybe on the front of the tongue.
they got
too.
more money than I do, so great job, Dick.
Hey, it's not about money. You're making more whiskey than I am.
That's a good point.
They've been making whiskey longer than most of us have been alive.
Exactly. So
Most
get to the
people have been
chat.
alive.
OG, welcome. He's got some. So he's never had Dickel either. OG's never had it.
Yeah.
Told you, maybe not as attainable as we might think.
So exactly, but
Is
anyway,
that the only thing? What do we got?
Nah, they're talking. There's some other people who
I
got some
love
stuff. Sickles
Do they
family, welcome as
Do
well.
they distro nationwide? I'm assuming.
So I think Dickel's pretty much readily available everywhere. I mean, what do you guys think? I've seen this pretty much everywhere I go. I've seen this at like Albertsons, our grocery stores.
Well, I mean, if it's coming from Tennessee, it's got to be on the East Coast. If it's made it all the way to Las Vegas,
right?
So I will say this: I don't think that up until very recently, the Dickel was that easily obtainable, and I only say that because I distinctly remember just before COVID shut the world down, you and I were running around and doing a bunch of whiskey bourbon hunting.
Yeah.
And I remember you saying, "Oh wow, Dickel." Like it was not a really easily obtainable thing.
Some of them, I think I found I think I actually remember that exact moment. We ran across like a Barrel Select.
Were
and
you,
I was
were
like,
you guys,
oh.
Were you guys possibly looking for the sriracha flavored?
No.
Hey, no, it's Tabasco.
Oh, is it Tabasco?
It is Dickel. It's Dickel 8 that is then aged for an additional 6 months in a Tabasco chili barrel.
I am curious about that. That might taste good.
I kind of think so too.
I don't know.
And so James and I were talking about this before the show.
spicy
We
whiskey.
said, what would you do with it? And they say, oh, you could drink it, and then it said cocktail recipes, and I was like, oh my god, what cocktail recipes? James just pulls out of his butt immediately. He goes, I guess you could make Bloody Marys with it.
Hell yeah.
And I was like,
whiskey Bloody Mary.
Whiskey Bloody Mary
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
I would. If
yeah.
I had a Tabasco flavored alcohol, immediately.
Heck
I'd be,
yeah.
or what do you call it? Yeah.
A Tabasco flavored whiskey.
Yeah.
Bloody Mary, and I'm thinking V8, Montreal steak seasoning, a pickle, couple of green olives, stir that up with a big crunchy celery stalk, and add horseradish.
And get into the chat. And also, doesn't let's talk about Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, right? Because aren't those released seasonally?
They are.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're distilled seasonally. So they were talking about how Old Fitz is a brand that like uses the same mash bill, but it ages it in the winter and then also the summer and labels it as two separate types.
You know, that's interesting. I don't know the answer to that.
Old Fitz. The Redbeard said Old Fitz.
But Dickel actually does that with their B&B.
Right.
So their B&B, they have a
Bond.
fall. They have a fall and
a
a spring
distilled in.
distilled. And so in a couple of weeks, we will do the 2007 distilling season for the Dickel Bottled and Bond.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks for picking these up.
You know what's interesting that I'm kind of getting out of this? I'm getting a lingering sweetness.
Oh, it's very sweet, dude.
Yeah.
84% corn?
Yeah, because at first I wasn't getting the sweetness. Like I was getting, basically just thinking of whiskey. I was getting kind of the baking spices,
sure,
a little bit of astringency, but then like the very end, it leaves like a nice sweet taste in your mouth, like almost like a vanilla honey-ish.
Right, that's what I was thinking, OG. It's not just one season. So back to like, I'm getting a little peanut brittle too. I don't know about you guys, but I think on that back end, some peanut brittle and a little bit of pepper, peanut brittle. It's just very light and delicate.
I wouldn't fight you on the peanut brittle. I think you got to dig in for it.
It's sweet. It's not off-putting. Like, this isn't terrible. Like, I get it. If this was 1800s whiskey, okay.
You know what?
I'm not disappointed.
Zach, yeah, you guys have convinced me. I would say that sweetness is like a burnt sugar.
Yeah.
And it's a burnt sugar like a peanut brittle.
Yeah.
And it's
like a creamy burnt sugar.
And it doesn't seem, at least for me, I don't get it right off the bat, but that's kind of like the aftertaste, the lingering taste. I'm enjoying this. I like it.
Yeah, and OG, they said some of them are as young as 9 year too, for the Elijah Craig barrel proofs.
For those that can't see the live chat, what is it?
No, they can't. Everybody can see it now.
Yeah,
he was talking about
replay. You cannot.
I think he's talking about how Elijah Craig barrel proofs are made. He said it's at least 12 years because it's age stated.
Yeah,
but it's anywhere from 9 to 14. I thought, actually, for barrel proofs. You guys might have to do some digging on that, but I think I read that.
No,
somewhere.
You guys don't have to do anything. That's our job. That's why you watch.
Oh yeah, we'll edit and post and add it.
No, we're not going to edit and post and add it. We'll just we'll do something about it and we'll do it next week.
Sure. All right.
Edit, post,
and scores. Why don't you start us off, BJ?
No.
Zach.
Thanks. All right.
Or Beach, what do you got? Score this. Talk about nose. Talk about taste. Talk about value.
Yeah, I don't get a lot on the nose personally. I'm not getting a huge
sweetness.
No, yeah, there's not a ton of nose. I'm getting a little bit of char, a little astringent, a little ethanol. It's not terrible. It's not great. In the taste here, the lower proof is nice because you can give it a little bit of a Kentucky chew, which just means swishing it up around your mouth a little bit. There is like a nice burnt sugar, sweet peanut at the end and the linger. It's pretty quick as far as the taste goes. I think that it's gone pretty quick. Leaves you wanting to kind of go back and keep going back to that flavor profile because it's not lingering. Obviously at $21.49, something like $22. Let's just say $22. I think $22 for a drinkable whiskey, something to put in your bar that's you don't have to about drinking every day or serving to friends, is pretty incredible.
That's a brilliant question. So really quick, we had a question. What is sour mash? Do you know what a sour mash is? I just read it myself.
A sour mash versus a regular mash?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I remember asking that question. But
so what they do is that when you make a new batch of basically a portion of the previous batch is added to the next mash batch.
Yeah, like a mother.
It's like a mother yeast.
Huh.
Yeah.
They said that there's similar microbial elements, active bacteria, yeast, blah, 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 that make it consistent. And they say that also adds to the consistency in the taste.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Or maybe I read it and I forgot it, and now I know it again.
77. I'm giving it a 77 out of 100.
Okay, all right. Zach, what are you giving it?
So, nose. Smells like an old book. Smells like old leather. Smells like an old barn. Very dusty. Not really off-putting, but that's kind of the distinct smell that I get out of it. Taste, baking spices. You get a little bit of sweetness on about the middle of to the back of your tongue.
Sub 1K, welcome. He just.
Hey, what up, Mr. Pool? You really don't get an ethanol punch from it. Like there's, nothing off-putting about it. Like BJ and actually we've been saying this the whole time, a little bit of astringency to it, which isn't super bad, but I mean that's kind of what you're getting out of the taste. For the value, what was it? $21?
Yeah.
$21.
$21.99 or $89.
For what it is.
$22.
For what it is and
great
what
value.
What it wants to be. I will give it. Let's see. You know what? I'm going to give it an 80 because I think that's a D, what is that? A B minus?
Yeah.
Yeah, B minus. I mean, is it solid for the product that it is? Yes. Would I want to drink it all day long? Probably not.
That's a great point, Zach. That's well said.
Yeah.
Like, it's good for what it is.
Yeah.
But I don't want to drink it all the time.
And it's always going to taste the same. If
Right.
you like the taste, it's always going to be very consistent.
Yeah. Again, it's like walking into a saloon and this is all they sell is whiskey. This
Where
is all you
put
get.
your nickel on the bar and wait for your shot of whiskey. Wait for your shot of Dickel.
Exactly.
I'll give you a shot at Dickel.
What were you saying? Okay. You were going to say something.
So
Never
80.
mind. Okay.
80. 80.
80. So we have 77 from Beach. We have an 80 for the Zach, the whack. And
Haven't heard that in a while.
so let's think about this. The nose was, again, very kind
77.
of basic nose. It was sweet. Yeah, here, let me do one more.
Stop.
Like,
This is the cowboy, right? Give him a whiskey. Woo,
yeah,
woo.
like a creaminess, like just a creamy
Pew,
sweetness.
pew, pew, pew.
Okay.
Sorry, James. Continue.
Shut this show down. And
I'm sorry, James.
We're just being cowboys drinking our whiskey.
but it's mad. And now I'm like, I totally respect it. It's just like, and that's the thing, right? I don't think that they're trying to market beyond their means. I think they're meant that this is a 200-year-old or 150-year-old whiskey, and it's like, it is what it is.
It tasted
it's been the same since the olden days,
It's
right?
tasted the same for 100 years, and you know what? That is working.
It's working. It's the recipe. If you guys want to know what it used to taste like, this is it.
Yep.
I bet you could hold this up to a bottle that's 100 years old, probably tastes the same. You're like, damn.
So what I don't like about what you're saying is
Yes.
they're saying, well, Jack Daniels beat us.
No, I don't
We're
think
just
so.
George Dickel.
I think it's different. They're just like,
George Dickel.
their product.
We ain't Jack Daniels, but we're okay.
Hey, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think that's a bad thing to say.
George
sure-
Dickel,
I-
the Pepsi of whiskey.
Here's the thing. If this is the base,
This is
because
this is
I
a
think this
good
has
start.
potential. Yeah,
Real
this
good
has
start.
potential. This base.
Don't worry. I'm going to get you all Tennessee Dickler.
I'm with you, OG. I love Old Forester 1920. Anyway, I'm going to give it a total score 79.
Oh.
79.
I almost gave it an 80 with Zach, but I don't think it. When he said B, I'm like, this isn't a B, but it's a C plus. It's right there.
There's the base.
That's
and
the
it's
base.
a step above it.
And
not
that's,
bad.
79 is not bad, right? If I gave something a 50, it's bad.
Oh, we want to have some 50s.
I want to drink some 50s.
Yeah,
too,
I
so we'll
really
see what
want to. I
happens,
just want
but-
to experience the worst.
What
so
do you
I
guys
know what the
think
best
that,
is.
that makes
You
our
have.
average? What's our average?
You have.
Right there.
You drank some early times.
Oh, yeah, we
Plastic
did.
bottle.
Oh, I'd like to revisit that with our new scoring
So
system.
you said 77, 79, and 80, which really I think does give it a
78.56.
78.77,
56.
close to a 79.
Pi
Probably
1, 2, 3, 5.
a 78 average.
78.66.
79, 80.
I'm surprised that it came in. Wow, yeah, I guess that's right. You said you gave it an 88? I
No.
figured when we averaged that out, that would have stayed a little bit stronger. It would have
No.
made it like an 82.
No, 80.
79.
79, a 77, and an 80.
Oh, I thought one of you gave it an 88.
No.
Oh,
80.
okay.
Well, with that,
No,
I
okay,
think we
no,
should
yeah,
shut
don't-
this down.
I would feel
Got it.
really, really bad if I gave it an 88.
Okay,
Because,
okay.
yeah,
like
88
you're
would
way
be
off.
premium.
You're way off.
I only go by 5s.
Do we have some in the chat?
Yeah, so Shelley says, what if the building was still metal, but the floor was concrete and it was kept very clean? Do they always set the buildings in dirt to get the flavor? I don't know. I mean, because I'm sure there's some, we haven't done a distillery tour in person yet.
Sounds like aging whiskey in a Costco.
But here's the thing. You have to roll around barrels. I don't think they're doing that on dirt. I wouldn't. I'm sure they're probably
It's got to be a wooden
wood
floor.
or wooden
I bet you
floors.
it's a wooden floor.
Yeah.
Has to be.
Hey, George Dickel, we'd like to come visit.
Did they have concrete 150 years ago
Yes.
to create?
Yeah, they did.
The Grecians had concrete.
Well, no, when they were creating these rickhouses.
Who knows? But I'm thinking mostly were wood floors.
That's what I think,
realistically.
They ground out the bones of their ancestors. They used glue and made floor.
All right,
That's
all right.
awesome.
For the barrel, I am James.
Zach.
And I'm BJ.
Hey.